What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into an easy, exciting project. We're gonna be installing a super affordable, well-rated, fully plug and play remote starter onto our 5th generation 4Runner. Stay tuned because we'll also be doing some tests on this unit to see how well it works with our factory key and also to see if there are any issues with parasitic battery drain. All right, so I'm super excited to finally have a remote starter for my 5th generation 4Runner. This upgrade will let us, start our engine from a distance using our factory key or fob, which is super handy. The install is pretty straightforward and there is no wire splicing required. The whole kit here is fully plug and play. Having a remote starter will let us, warm up our interior and our engine prior to driving, and this will be perfect for those chilly winter mornings. I got this Start X kit off of Amazon for about $155, but depending on your model and year, the kit can cost as much as $200. This brand is slightly more affordable than the other options, but still has great reviews. If you do shop around, you'll see there's about 3 different plug and play brands out there, which are very similar to this one. They all seem to have similar wiring harness and plug locations. I suspect the electronic components all come from the same overseas factory. They all provide the same options with push start and keyed ignition 4Runners. Please note that I did pay full price for this myself and this video is not sponsored in any way. If you are interested in picking this up though, I will leave a link below in the description. All right, let's get into the install. But before we get started, I want to mention that I previously had a CompuStar remote starter on my old vehicle and eventually I discovered it caused some parasitic battery drain. So let's start off by testing this to see what our parasitic battery drain is prior to install and afterwards. And then we'll make a comparison to see, if this is draining our battery. All right, let's jump into it.
All right, so prior to install, I used a multimeter on the 10 amp setting and I discovered that I had about 14 milliamps of draw prior to install. This is totally acceptable. All right, so to install the Start X, all you'll need is a Phillips head screwdriver. Inside the kit, you'll have the module here, which has all the plug locations. You'll have your wiring harness and zip ties. You will have a trim removal tool, a sticker, and a guide with all the instructions on how to do the install.
All right, so our first step is we have to undo 2 Phillips head screws. So we have to move the steering wheel back and forth to access these. So in order to do that, we have to start the vehicle. So I push start, so I'll just start my vehicle by pushing. Now that the vehicle started, I can move this steering wheel, which gives us access to this Phillips head screw here.
And on the opposite side.
All right, so we'll just turn our steering wheel over to the side here. Now we have to get a pry tool in between this seam here. Kind of push that in. And just pop it, and it will just pop up easily like that. I'll just make sure this side's popped as well. Great. All right, so now we'll pull this down, make sure our steering wheel is pulled all the way out, which mine already is, and then down, and we'll try to get this bottom panel right off here. There we go. All right, so this is now gonna give us access to these plugs on the opposite side. So let's head over there now. All right, so coming under here, we have this plug that we're gonna undo. We're gonna basically add this in. So this plug comes off here, it plugs into here, this one plugs into there. If you have keyed ignition, you'll have a yellow plug over here you'll undo instead of this one. Pop this, and then we'll plug this in. And make sure it's clipped in, give it a little tug. Great. All right, so we're on the driver's side now. This plug is gonna go into our ECU, and the plug that was in the ECU is gonna go into here. So to get to the ECU, we have to pop this dash out. So basically just take your hand and you want to reach and just grab here and just kind of shake it back and forth while pulling down, and this will pop down like this. So there's 3 plugs here. There's 1, 2, 3. And there's also 2 on the outside. We're going for the middle one here on the right. So I actually found it easier to undo the top plug and then undo the middle plug. Otherwise the top plug kind of gets in the way. It won't allow you to pull it out. So, all right, let's add this in now. So the one we removed, we will connect it to this one. And then we'll plug this connector into that spot for the connector we just removed. So click it in, you'll hear a click. And then we'll put that top one back on. There we go.
With keyed ignition only, you'll remove the OBD2 connector, you'll connect it to the harness, and then the harness's OBD2 connector will go into your old location there.
All right, so it's now time to plug in our module here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have to follow a certain sequence. So there's a programming button on the side here. We wanna hold that down while we plug in this little black connector, and then we'll do the remaining 3. So there's a sequence to this, so let's do that. So hold this button down, and I'm gonna plug in this little black connector. So these lights are supposed to alternate. And the blue is momentarily lit. I'm supposed to let go. Okay, now the blue LED should stay lit. If it doesn't, then unconnect the black connector and start over again, but ours is staying lit, so we're now ready to plug in all of the rest of the connectors. So let's do that. And of course, this is for push start. If you have keyed ignition, it's probably different. You'll have to follow the instructions. Great, so everything's plugged in. Now it says do not press the brake pedal. What I want to do is press the push to start button twice to turn on the ignition. Okay, so the blue LED is flashing rapidly, and then we're going to press the push to start button again once to turn off the start mode, and now it should be successfully programmed. All right, so I just zip tied it to this kind of metal support here next to the steering wheel. Just added a zip tie, and it's just holding this module in place there. So now we can start pushing our dash back together. Just make sure it's all nicely secured, and then we'll pop that bottom of this steering column back on.
All right, so now we can put those 2 Phillips head screws back in. And then what we'll do is we'll turn our steering wheel from side to side just to make sure it's not getting hung up on any wires or anything like that, and that the movement is smooth. All right, so we are now testing our draw here, our parasitic battery draw. Looks like it increased by only 1 milliamps. That's pretty impressive. All right, so to start the vehicle, we'll press our remote 3 times. And our vehicle will start. This works from a distance of about 50 meters. You know, I wouldn't expect to start the vehicle when inside Walmart or something, but as long as your key fob is working, it is able to start the vehicle. So a fresh battery goes a long way in making the key fob work better. And it's 3 pushes again to turn it off. If your vehicle is pushed to start, you'll notice that the vehicle turns off when you open the door. This is an anti-theft system. If you have keyed ignition, you can leave the vehicle running. Just put the key in, turn it, and then press the brake pedal.
All right, guys, I hope you found that video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye now.